This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Again, if you're new here, this is Jim Pearson leads this for us, and we do a lot of some meditation. It doesn't matter what level you're on. Jim does a great job of this. We thank you, Jim, again. I'm going to turn everybody's, or you guys can all turn off your cameras and your mics while Jim is talking. And that way we can all focus on him. I do have this recorded, and I do have other recordings up. So if you went to our website, you should see last month's recording. So you can always do some meditation on your own by watching that whenever you want. So that's my brief introduction. Jim, you do a kind of a question and answer in the middle where you guys can turn on your mics and your videos then if you want to. There's also the chat, and but yeah, we'll take about an hour then. So I'll leave it to you, Jim.
Okay, Amy, thank you so much, and a big thanks to all of you for taking the time to share a few moments together. It feels good. Thank you, and important, I guess, that we have moments like this during these kind of difficult times, and we don't get out and about and gather as we would like. Yeah, and again, thank you to the library and Amy for making this all possible. At last session, we did have a little homework assignment, which was to bring a blank sheet of paper. And I just would love to have more homework assignments like that when I was a kid. I could have got them in on time, I think. I could have done better. So if you want one of our meditations, we'll have a sheet of paper. You might want to have that handy. And we always spend a little bit of time reviewing what we've done. We've had a couple of these now, but each session I like to think kind of stands on its own, but it's all connected, as we'll talk more about that. And so we're really looking at meditation and some basic teaching fundamentals. And I'm happy to report, as I try to share with you some fundamentals, I try to draw on some of the wisdom of some of the really beautiful teachers that I have put into my notes, and their wisdom. So it's good to review in that way, the fundamentals, but it's also good to review for any new person too, kind of what we've been doing. And so once again, we're working with a very, I think, simple definition of mindfulness, of meditation, of being in the present moment, which is simply bringing non-judgmental awareness to the present moment. Non-judgmental awareness in the present moment is the gift we have. That is the gift of life, as we know, and we so often get our heads, our minds, our busy minds in the past or in the future, and often neglect the present moment. So our goal for meditation and mindfulness is to appreciate the present moment and to fully embrace it, the presence, this larger presence that it is. It's very real. We use some tools to help us with that, and one is the bell. And we wake up the bell and we hit the bell to come back to our body, to stop thoughts and find our breath, and perhaps take 3 deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out, calming ourselves. A bell is a bodhisattva. It's an awakened being. And the bell helps point us to other bodhisattvas. Everything can be a bodhisattva. Anything that helps us be awake. So we can you know, we have those moments that we do in our lives where we just have to slow down. Maybe you came to a stoplight, you're driving a car, or you have a moment where you stop walking somewhere and turn, and or you have a feeling. And sometimes that's my best bodhisattva, when I feel a little tenseness in my body or some anxiety. And if I'm on my game, so to speak, I'll say, oh, I need to stop and take a calming breath and calm myself. And breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Breathing in, a calming breath. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in the moment. Wonderful moment. Anything like that that helps us stay awake in the present moment is a bodhisattva. Last session, we again meditated on the very most basic meditation there is, I think, because very practitioners practice their breath, a breathing meditation. And last time we did one which one I really love, which was a meditation to just appreciate how much we are alive and how much love there is. It's a great love relationship of our body, our lungs in particular, but all of our body with the air. And it just happens naturally. We breathe, you know, it happens on its own. It is life that arises of itself. And it's such a beautiful thing. And it's the way life is around us when we have those wakeful moments. So that was our love breathing meditation. And another one we did was one on loving kindness and compassion. And with that meditation, we realized that all beings, all creatures, all people want to be happy and free from suffering, just like we do. And it was a meditation to kind of be mindful of that as we meet people, as we try to listen to where they're at, and to bring kindness to that. The third one was on the Four Immeasurables, and it's a wonderful Buddhist teaching on those things that the more they are practiced, the more that they are lived out, the more they grow, and they're limitless. In fact, that's another name for them, is the Four Limitless Minds. And they are loving kindness, compassion, joy, in particular, shared joy. Just think, when other people are happy, we can be happy too. I mean, it's a win-win, you know? And the fourth one, equanimity or inclusiveness, non-judgmental awareness. So for this evening, I would like to introduce a couple more basic things. So with some teaching with that and meditations around that. The first one is going to be a meditation entitled RAIN. And some of you may be familiar with that. It's an acronym, RAIN, for a meditation that we'll talk briefly about soon. So a little bit of the agenda here. Then another meditation on, as Thich Nhat Hanh loves to say, on interbeing, that we all inter-are. And a little teaching that we'll do that I'll draw on from his work for that meditation as well. And then we'll have a little conversation or reflection about what we've been doing. And we'll end with a quiet sit, which is something we need to find time for every day. And whether it's just a few minutes or a longer a longer meditative sit, that it's all good, and we all need to nurture those meditative moments of awareness throughout the day into the presence that is around us. So let's begin with rain. And I'm going to draw on probably one of the best teachers that we've come across of rain, but she's not the only one. But Tara Brach does a very good job with it. And it is a meditation on self-compassion and awareness. And as we know, in order to take good care of others, we need to take care of ourselves, and it's interconnected. And rain is one of the meditations that helps nurture kindness to ourselves. And we'll begin just with a little more explanation about what the acronym stands for. For the R is to recognize. We come into a sit, calm ourselves, and we allow some moments for recognition, to recognize what is going on with feelings, in our head, just perhaps some reaction of what's going on around us. It's a moment to recognize. And then once we recognize, we allow some time to allow the experience just as it is. So that's the A. After we recognize and have some moments to just allow it, to befriend it, if you will, we can then turn to some investigation. And it's not so much conceptualizing it, it's just allow it to investigate it for how it feels in particular in our body. And our body is a very good teacher when we give it time to do that. So we investigate within ourselves with kindness. And that's the I. And then finally we come to N, which is to nurture what we have recognized and allowed and investigated, to nurture with self-compassion. So I'm going to combine a rain meditation with a little more explanation of what it is. But as you get more practiced in it, there'll be less of this talk going on. And I invite you, by the way, you can find Tara Brach by doing a search for Tara, Tara Brach, or like a YouTube, if you insert type in rain meditation, she will come up as well as others. So drawing on some of Tara's wisdom, let us start our first meditation. Sitting in a comfortable position, keeping our spines straight. You may, if you like, to gently close your eyes. Know that you are breathing in, and know that you are breathing out. We begin this moment of self-compassion to recognize what's going on. Consciously acknowledging in any given moment the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are affecting us. It's like awakening from a dream or from that trance of all the little stories in our heads of what our body has been trying to tell us. And we begin to greet it, to recognize it. What are the emotions? Are there any physical sensations to note? Has there been that also present critical inner voice, creating feelings of inadequacy, disappointment, even shame? Is there fear? The squeeze of anxiety, if not a weight of depression? Recognizing can be a soft mental whisper, helping us to note what's there. With that little bit of recognition, we allow the experience to be there just as it is, letting those thoughts, those emotions, sensations, feelings simply be there without trying to fix or avoid anything. A monk might say, invite it in for tea or refreshment. With our recognition and allowing such as it is, no judging. We begin to investigate with interest and care. Call on your natural curiosity, the desire to know its truth. You might ask yourself, what most wants my attention? How am I experiencing this in my body? What am I believing? What are the stories I tell myself or that I'm hearing? What does it most need? What is my body telling me? We come to nurturing moments now with self-compassion. It arises naturally when we give attention to any kind of suffering that we have recognized and allowed and investigated. What kind of care can we give this, give to ourselves? Is it a message of reassurance, forgiveness, companionship? Some expression of love is to be given. Again, it might be a mental whisper saying, I love you, I'm listening. Trust in your basic goodness. You are an amazing expression of life. That's the truth. Now, open yourself to just quiet awareness, this tender space. Come back to your breath. Know that you have a natural freedom, which is mysterious and precious, to be just who you are. I hope that was good. Like our meditations, it's not a one-shot deal. There's no attainment. So a meditation like this is something that we can use throughout our lives, because there's, unfortunately, or the way it is, our stories in our head will start deceiving us, or we'll have feeling anxiety and fears and things. So I hope this was a good practice, introduction and practice. And again, there's more on this if you wish to investigate. Our next meditation is one that I really love. And this is where we will use our homework assignment, a blank sheet of paper, perhaps out in front of you. And it's a meditation about the connectedness of all things, of all of life. And we all know something about this, knowing things are connected to one another in different ways. But I say, ask a biologist or an ecologist, and they can really tell you about it, how that everything, especially in a given biome or space, every creature, every organism is connected, if not dependent upon one another or of it all for life. And my favorite image of this is when I was about 14 years old and first saw the images of the moon, or going to the moon, the Apollo astronauts going to the moon, images of the moon, but in particular, the images of planet Earth are that blue orb, and you've seen those iconic pictures of the blue and the other colors. And it was telling us that that is a planet that is life in and of itself. And when we live on it, we see various manifestations of life, of this one life, which is us, and all the creatures and other things. So this is a meditation that I'm going to draw on such a beautiful teacher of interbeing as Brother Thich Nhat Hanh, the beloved Buddhist monk. And you see, I love this book. I've got little favorite passages. And this is a book, a very thin book on the Heart Sutra, which is the amazing grace of Buddhist teaching. And his little book is called The Heart of Understanding. And I know you're going to love it. You don't have this. When you do buy it, buy a couple of extra copies because you're going to want to give one to your friends or a family member or someone. So I'm going to draw on his beautiful teaching on interbeing. So with your sheet of paper in front of you, and you may, as he would say, look deeply upon that piece of paper to penetrate it. And at times you may want to just close your eyes to visualize as well. You can go back and forth, whatever you would like to do. But again, we're going to use his teaching and we'll make it into a meditation. All things inter-be and inter-are. Again, coming back to our breath. What a gift. What a miracle. If you are a poet, and you are, you will clearly see that there is a cloud floating in the sheet of paper. For without a cloud, there will be no rain. Without rain, the trees cannot grow. And without trees, we cannot have paper. The cloud is essential for the paper to exist. If the cloud is not there, the sheet of paper cannot be there either. So we can say the cloud and the paper inter-are. And if we look into this sheet of paper even more deeply, we can see the sunshine in it. If the sunshine is not there, the forests cannot grow. In fact, nothing can grow. Even we cannot grow without the sunshine. So we know that the sunshine is also in this sheet of paper. The paper and the sunshine inter-are. And if we continue to look, we can see the logger who cut the tree and brought it to the mill to be transformed into paper. and we can see the wheat. We know that the logger cannot exist without its daily bread, and therefore the wheat that became his bread is also in this sheet of paper. And the logger's father and mother are in it too. And when we look in this way, we can see without all of these things that this sheet of paper cannot exist. Looking even more deeply, we can see that we are in it too. This is not difficult to see, because when we look at the sheet of paper is part of our perception. Your mind is in here, and mine is also. So we could say that everything is in here in this sheet of paper. You cannot point to one thing that is not there and here. Time, space, the earth, the rain, the minerals in the soil, the sunshine, the cloud, the river, the heat. Everything coexists in this sheet of paper. To be is to interbe. You cannot be by yourself alone. You have to interbe with every other thing. This sheet of paper is because everything is. Suppose we try to return one of the elements to its source. Suppose we return the sunshine to the sun. Do you think that this sheet of paper would be possible? And if we return the logger to his mother, then we have no sheet of paper either. The fact is, this sheet of paper is made of non-paper elements. And if we return these non-paper elements to their sources, there is no paper at all. As thin as this sheet of paper is, it contains everything in the universe in it. Thank you. Well, this could be our moments for some sharing, reflection. Any questions? Not that we'd have any answers. We'll try. And maybe take a stretch before we conclude the last 15 minutes or so. So, Amy, you may, if you wish to turn on, and people turn on as they ask a question, or
Yep, you can just unmute your mics or put on your screen or your camera, whichever you want, and just ask your questions. You can also do it in the chat too. We can see that. So whichever you prefer.
mm-hmm. I'm bringing my wifey, beloved Gloria, into the chat. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you.
You too.
Just to grease the skids a little bit, I'm curious how people might have felt about the rain meditation and or the interbeing, if they thought those were helpful.
I love Thich Nhat Hanh's metaphors, the story of how all things are connected. It's really a great story. I mean, it's just delightful.
It's so true.
Yeah.
You know, we have Jim Stingle on here. I'm not going to put Jim on the spot, only to acknowledge that he's a biologist, and Jim could, and I know he is capable of waxing eloquent on the connectedness of all things.
I will hold off a little bit, Jim. Thank you, though.
I'll take it when we can get it, Jim. But one of the things of some years ago, a friend of mine gave us a calendar of Thich Nhat Hanh's artwork, and he's also wonderful little calligraphy artwork. But one of the months was looking deeply at any one thing, you can see the whole cosmos. And it's true, I hope you all think that's true, as we explored what we could see in a thin sheet of paper.
Yeah, he has a wonderful way, I think, of drawing you in and having it be simplified so that it's so clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
I also have to say that I like Tara Brach's rain metaphor too. I've used it before with college students, when I was, in an environment where I provided more direct service to them, because it's easy to remember. And it's a great acronym for looking at, okay, recognizing what you're feeling, acknowledging it, being curious about it, and investigating it dispassionately, and then forgiving yourself. In other words, giving yourself some space to nurture and care. And most students can remember it. So I like it when there are tools like that that are easy to use.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, invite folks to unmute their mics. They have to do that themselves, Amy, or
Yeah,
if
but
anyone.
it's easiest if they can do it themselves. Just at the bottom of the screen, just click your mic and then you can unmute yourself. So yeah, it's easiest.
No obligation to do that. just if you wish.
That way we know you're awake.
Yeah, that is just in case you wish to share something. And so otherwise, it's all good. Yeah, you know, another reason that I thought it was important to do something like the rain meditation was, you know, in the previous session, and I mentioned this a little bit, that we had talked about showing kindness and compassion for others. And we all know that there hasn't been a lot of good listening going on in the world around us, that we just tend to shout at each other rather than to calm things down and to make ourselves available to listen. But we don't do this very well with ourselves a lot of the times as well. And so that's a piece that the rain meditation really reminds us on, is to find that time to listen to ourselves in quietness and stillness. And it may be helpful then to go through what's going on, the recognition, the allowing, the investigating, and the nurturing of ourselves. So we're there for others as well.
Is anybody willing to share if they did identify some feelings coming up and maybe what that was?
This is Chris of Steve and Chris.
Yes, hi.
Hi. And I think I would share that this has been a most unexpected, deep experience for me. I expected to be relaxed. I didn't expect to fall into a blank piece of paper. And I don't know where I went, but until the bell rang, I mean, I was gone. Last thing I remember was the lumberjack and his parent, and evidently we got to know each other, but that was surprising to me.
It sounds like you did what Brother Ty would say, is that you thoroughly penetrated that piece of paper.
I think so. So that's the experience I'll share, and I'll unmic myself here, mute myself.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I remember when I first came across that teaching, and then do you see the logger? And then my first reaction was, please don't be clear-cutting. Then I came back to just the simple logger.
Non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental. Thich Nhat Hanh also has another saying, was, when I'm gone and I'm dust, please be happy for me. I'll be very happy because the whole cosmos is in that speck of dust. He is such a delight. And Gloria and I had the privilege of visiting his monastery in France when he was still all there. Yeah, many know that he suffered a severe stroke, and such a presence.
Is anybody else? Maybe you're out of time.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else to share? Okay, we will come to our closing quietness into stillness. And of course, this is the loving presence that is around us, that nurtures us even when we don't notice it, and where everything arises And the goal of these guided meditations and the teachings that we are trying to share here is to reinforce that presence that is with us, and to sit with it. To find if it's not more than a few minutes each day, it will, and it does, nurture us. And then throughout the day, we just find those moments where we come back to ourselves and know that we are breathing in, and what a miracle. And we come back to the gift of the present moment. It is infinite in possibilities. So let's go in, and so for this quiet sit, we go into non-judgmental awareness and find our breath, and whatever arises, let it be, but don't stay lost in thought. Again, finding that comfortable posture. And for a few minutes, know that we are in that infinite presence. Now, just come back to any meditation to open awareness, knowing we are a part of this infinite presence that nourishes and sustains us, and that we interbe, we inter-are with everything in the cosmos. Well, again, thank you very much for sharing these moments together. We'll have another gathering in February, the second Monday of the month. And I should have written down what day that is. Amy probably could tell us.
Yep, it's February 8th, 6:30.
Okay, excellent. And, you know, I have another wonderful homework assignment, is to bring a tangerine, or known as a little cutie, or your favorite citrus, be it an orange or something, but these were great. And we'll have, as part of our meditation, we'll have a little tangerine party. So, something to look forward to. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone again, and thanks to Jim and Gloria again for leading this in our great meditation session again. So yeah, it'll be again February 8th at 6:30, and this session should be up on their website in the next few days. So just check it out if you, like I said, if you need to go back and do some more meditating. So thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.